Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting, the public meeting for October 19th, 2020 to order. With that, we will do the pledge of allegiance.
Liz, you have
I can't hear it.
Foster, I can hear it. It's very unnerving. Foster Digital, are you guys going to handle this audio effect for us?
So you all have it? Did you all? Okay. Yeah. I'm hearing voices in my head.
That's what happens when you're the chair.
Okay, they're working on taking care of it. Oh, it's better. I think they took care of it. That's quick. Is anyone else hearing it?
No, it's
no
not.
more voices in my head.
Okay, good.
We're calling this meeting to order for October 19th, 2020. We could all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of America.
And to
the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
All right. Next on the agenda is item number 3, and that is our roll call. Deanna?
Liz McNaney, President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Vice President.
Here.
Martha Similero, Commissioner. Here. Catherine Carter, Commissioner.
Here.
Ruth Damsker, Commissioner.
Here.
Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Isaac Kessler, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Burrell, Finance Director.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
That's everybody.
Thank you, Deanna. Next on the agenda, item number 4, recognition of Karen Busby for 15 years of service to the township. I believe she's with us tonight.
David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
It's everybody.
Thank you, Deanna, again. Next on the agenda, item number 4, recognition of Karen Busby.
I think we have the audio feed in our Zoom. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
Hey, Karen, just hang tight with us. We can hear. Oh, Karen, are you watching our feed?
Yes.
Oh, could you turn down the volume on that?
Can you guys hear it?
Off.
There we go. Okay, I thought it's so funny. Just before you came into the Zoom, we were having we could hear ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I heard
with
that.
A terrible echo. Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought it was
Yes.
another audio problem.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. Okay, sorry, Liz.
That's okay. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. You're welcome.
We'd like to recognize you tonight for your 15 years, and I have some kind words from some of your co-workers to read to you this evening. They say, "Thank you, Karen, for your dedication to the township and the quality of work you have consistently performed over the last 15 years. Do you realize that over the time that you have timely and accurately processed over 25,000 paychecks for your fellow employees and over 180,000 sewer utility bills for our businesses and residents? And that is amazing. So thank you for that. Keep up the outstanding work. You are a key member of the finance department. You're a friend to many, if not all of our employees, and we wish you at least another 15 years with us. Congratulations."
Thank you, Liz. I didn't realize I was so busy all these 15 years.
Oh, you're always busy. When we see you, you're always running around or sitting there busy. So Karen, we appreciate everything that you've done for us, for the residents, the businesses, for everyone at the township.
My pleasure, Liz. Thank you, and thank the board.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats, Karen. Thanks for
Thank-
tuning in, Karen. It's nice to see you tonight.
Same. And thank you, Dave, for all that math you must have been doing today.
Exactly
You
right.
totally know it was Dave that did the math.
I totally asked him, I said, what in addition, what can we say? And he came up with this, and I was very, very impressed with all of that. So that's a
Yeah.
lot. So thank you, Karen.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is recognition of Lori Hamill for 20 years of service to the township. Lori is unable to attend this evening, but I can say that being a resident of this township for over 20 years, I always see Lori around. I've always noticed her. It's the long blonde hair, I guess, that I see working hard and always out there and always seems to have a smile on her face as well, no matter what the situation is. So we're very fortunate to have somebody like Lori on our team. Sandra, did you have anything, or Megan, that you wanted to add about Lori tonight?
Yeah, I can add about Lori. Lori does such a great job in our events too. She's a really key player at the events that we have through the Park and Recreation Department. She just knows exactly what needs to be done. And as a new manager, when I was here, I just always remember, like, I sometimes have no idea what's happening, and I look at Lori, she always knows what needs to be done. So at the events. So congrats to Lori for 20 years of service.
Thank you for that, Sandra. Yep, she's always one step ahead of everything. She absolutely knows what's going on, and I know she played a key role in a lot of the events we had this summer as well, with keeping the social distancing and whatnot. So we certainly appreciate all her hard work and her years here with us at Upper Gwynedd. So thank you, Lori. Okay, moving right along. Item number 6 on the agenda. The announcement of the executive sessions, and I'll turn it over to Lauren Gallagher.
Thank you, President McNaney. The board did meet in executive session on October 8th regarding matters of collective bargaining, and on October 15th regarding matters of potential litigation.
Okay, thank you for that. Next is item number 7 on the agenda, public comments and concerns. Do we have any residents or anyone joining us tonight for public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is item number 8, which is a motion to approve the public meeting minutes of September 14th, 2020. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any additional public comment? I went out of order there for a second. Public comment, board comment, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Next is item number 9 is a motion to approve the public meeting minutes for September 29th, 2020. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any additional public comments?
No public comment.
Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Next, we might need a little discussion about this one, because this is pretty interesting that we do this, and I know I've learned a lot since learning about this. It's a motion to authorize the township manager to execute the contract with Constellation for a 60-month term. Sandra, before we started the meeting, you were pointing out some important points about all of this. Would you like to share a little bit more with us on that?
Actually, I'd like Megan to share. She loves when I ask her to share things and don't tell her in advance, but she's the one that worked on this, so I'm going to toss the ball to Megan.
So our energy contract is up at the end of this year in December of 2020. So this is actually a contract that we piggyback on. So the PA Municipal League, they have like what you would call a consortium. They do like a cooperative purchasing agreement. So they do all of the bidding for us, and then other municipalities can piggyback and get this purchasing rate. So the company that was awarded the bid through them was Constellation. So we received the rates from Constellation, and there is a significant savings if we do decide to renew our contract. So we just received the updated rates this morning, which I believe was sent out to you guys this afternoon, because the rates do change on a daily basis because they're based off of the market rate. So what was presented for you guys previously, we had 20% that was green energy, and we're proposing to increase that to 50% green energy. And there would still be a significant cost savings by doing that. And if you guys approve this, it would be for a 60-month agreement.
And all of, there's additional information if you click on the agenda item number 10, there would be more information about all of this. And from some information we got a little bit ago, we have to approve this by tomorrow because then the rates could change. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep. So, so with that, is there a motion to authorize the township manager to execute the contract for a 60-month term?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a
Second.
second? We have a second. Is there any additional public comment? Any
No
additional?
public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, I still have it. Are you sure you don't need me to come tonight and sign anything so that we get this rate? Tomorrow will be fine. All right, moving right along. Next on the agenda, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Hull for zoning, planning, and code enforcement report.
Thank you, Commissioner McNaney. So first up, we have a request by the shops at Upper Gwynedd for an escrow release. We have turned that over to both our engineer as well as to, and our engineer for this is T&M, as well as to our sanitary sewer engineer. And they have both certified that the work associated with the escrow release number 2 has been completed. So they've executed the certificate of partial completion. So as we approve this second escrow release, we will be approving it in the amount of $135,208.66, thus reducing the letter of credit to $407,549.09. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve escrow release number 2 for the shops at Upper Gwynedd / Upper Gwynedd Equities LLC in the amount of $135,208.66.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second by Commissioner Similario, I think I heard. Is there any public comment on this?
No public comment.
Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next up, we have a request for the Cottage Avenue deed of dedication. The applicant has submitted the deed to the township. The only items being dedicated to the township is the sanitary sewer and the Cottage Avenue ultimate right-of-way. The solicitor, our solicitor and our engineer once again have reviewed the deed of dedication and the legal description. They find it acceptable and they have no issue with this acceptance. This is a new practice for us at Upper Gwynedd. In the past, we had not gone through the Board of Commissioners for the step. So this is a new practice that the township has been following. With that being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the deed of dedication, widening of Cottage Avenue for Gwynedd Walk.
We have
So
a
moved.
to approve. We have a second by Commissioner Damsker. Any additional public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next up, Merck is requesting permission to operate some crane work after hours. This crane work will be on 9 consecutive Sundays in support of Building 56 for the high roof replacement. These Sundays are backup dates to the already approved Saturdays for this project. The work will begin on 8 a.m. on Sundays. They do not anticipate any additional noise. And with that being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the Merck and Company waiver request from Chapter 113-1 and 124-5 for after-hours crane work on Building 56 high roof replacement project, Sundays in November and December of 2020.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Any board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next up is another Merck request. They are asking permission to work extended hours beginning Sunday, October 25th through April of 2021 to perform crane lifts on most Sundays during this time period. So this is to perform construction of the WP60A modular addition. They are confident that they can work with our coding officer, Dan Quimby, to ensure all the appropriate inspections happen, as well as with Chief Duffy in case there are any noise complaints. Continuous construction is required to complete the sequenced modular construction to meet the manufacturing schedule. So this is a unique project, hence why they need continuous construction, and therefore hence why they're asking for this long period of time to receive approval. They usually do it in smaller increments. That being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the Merck and Company waiver request from Chapter 113-1 and 124-5 for extended work hours on West Point Building 60A modular addition project beginning Sunday, October 25th, 2020 through April of 2021.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any additional or any public comment?
No public comment.
Any board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next up, we have another item from Merck. This is a preliminary / final land development plan for Merck Building 45. This is a resolution we'll hopefully be approving tonight. And I believe that Merck is going to make a presentation for us first.
Yes, good evening. It's Greg Landis on behalf of Merck.
Hi, Greg.
I'm not sure what happened to the rest of my team. I had invited them earlier today, so I guess they're trusting me to go on my own.
They're here, Greg. They're here.
Oh, they are
Steve,
wonderful.
Dave, Tom, and Tom.
Oh, excellent. Yes, Tom Alvarez from Merck. He's the landlord representative. Tom Duga is the Merck Global Engineering representative, the team that will build the project. And our solicitor, David Bruman, is on the call as well.
Welcome.
Evening, commissioners.
Evening. Go ahead. Take it away, gentlemen.
Okay, someone going to post slides. I sent a deck. There they are. This is for our Building 45B addition. In the agenda, it was listed as Building 45, which is already there. So this is the addition to that building. Next slide, please. As a bit of facts relating to the project, the original building that it's connected to was built in 2 phases, and that was done in '84 and 1999 for our research group. We are proposing an addition of 40,408 square feet on a footprint of about a little over 14,000. Because we're cleaning up some additional space on the site, we're only going to disturb about 9,500 square feet of impervious, so no NPDES permit is required. And we did verify that with the township engineer and with the conservation district. This will be a tacked on brick exterior. And I'll show you a picture of it in a little bit. 3 stories, 2 floors with basically 21 labs and some open office space on the first 2 floors and 1 floor of mechanical space. We're under the 65-foot height limit, and we are well into the site. We're over 1,000 feet from West Point Pike, so we're tucked in behind additional buildings. We are requesting 4 waivers. The note on here says 2, but it's actually 3 full and 1 partial, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but it's essentially the first one combining preliminary final approval. The second one to waive the requirement of utility markings within 100 feet of the project site because we're on our own property. The maintenance and performance of public improvements and because we don't have any, and partial waiver of the stormwater operations maintenance agreement because we are going to be entering into one with the township by the end of the year. We should have that finished. And then our local ground landscaping will be limited to what we can put around the building, which will not leave room for trees. But we have about 2,700 of them around the property, so we feel we have plenty of trees in place. Any questions? Next slide. This is a view from the Goodyear blimp of the top of the building looking down to show the existing building, which is lower center, and then the proposed building addition will be to the north within the site with some improvements for access around the building. And what this will do, it will set us up to remove some things to the north of that as the future moves along. But we have to get this one done first. Next slide. This is a rendering looking south to north of the addition of the building, which is brick with a bit of glass that encloses directly in front of you where the shadow figures are walking. And I'm facing from, or I'm taking it from our building 46, which is to the south of that, well within the site, as I had mentioned. The enclosed mechanical penthouse on the roof, you can see, keeps all the air handlers and fans and the noise inside the building. Next slide. Some simple layouts, too small to see, but the first 2 floors, as I said, are laboratories with open office space between them. You can see the big box on the second floor for open office space. The third floor being reserved for mechanical equipment, air handlers, fans, and support equipment. Next slide. This is our record plan, which again, we are going to revise to include 3 waivers plus the partial. That's the only change on this drawing, which we will follow up on after the meeting. But the record plan has all the appropriate signature blocks, has been reviewed by Mr. Kessler, and we should be good to go with the addition of the waivers. Next slide. Review and approval progress. We have completed our review with the Planning Commission, have their approval. We have satisfied comments from the township engineer in 3 major buckets, if you will: subdivision and land development ordinance, 65 of those; the Wissahickon Creek Watershed Stormwater Management Ordinance, 14 of those; and 22 general comments, along with the appropriate reviews by the other township groups, as you see listed there. And we have revised our drawing set and sent our final written comments off to RVE on October 8th, and that's all complete. Next slide. And that brings us to our decision requested, which is to please approve our 45 edition, if 45B edition. And I have listed on a backup slide, I have with me the 4 waivers, which I can read, or you can go to the resolution. They're listed there, but they match the resolution exactly. And I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Greg, I think it would be a great idea to just go through the 4 waivers. So
Excellent.
would you mind just doing that?
Happy to do that. Waiver number 1 is listed section 168-13B to combine preliminary final land development plan submission. Comments indicated that would be acceptable. Waiver 2 is the section 168-6C/1C. That's for a distance of 100 feet outside of the boundary of the tract being subdivided or developed. The plan shall allow to show following information on location and size of existing and proposed sanitary sewers, manholes, storm sewers, inlets, culverts, bridges, water lines, etc. These features, while listed in the community, and it would make sense on our property, we already track that and have them, and that will not affect anything outside our boundary. Waiver 3, section 168-11.b, 2b, and c, and 168-14a in part for maintenance and performance of public improvements, which obviously we don't have any public improvements. And waiver 4, section 162-17 and 162-19, stormwater operation and maintenance agreement, partial waiver as Merck is preparing a site-wide stormwater operations and management agreement. We should have that. We expect to have that completed and over to the township in a reviewable draft form by the end of the year.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Greg? No? Lauren, did you have anything?
Did not. We prepared the resolution and reviewed it with counsel for Merck, and it's in a form acceptable for your your approval and execution this evening.
Great, thank you. Isaac, do you have anything?
Nothing further, really. Greg did a great job kind of walking through what we had as far as the sections that we reviewed with both Merck and with Pannoni, the preparer of the plan. And as you mentioned with the stormwater, the partial waiver, that this particular building addition, the stormwater goes to what they refer as basin number 4 on their site. And they did provide the necessary stormwater reports just to show that there won't be any issue with what they have proposed. And then as mentioned, the site-wide stormwater will be something that we'll review and work with them on as we head to the end of this year.
Great, okay, wonderful. And as Greg brought up, all the letters are in place from EMA, from our fire marshal, from the county planning commission, from our planning commission, from our engineer, from our attorney, from everybody. So it looks like everything seems to be in order. If
And
there-
they asked us to please approve it. See, they even asked us, please. do that.
Look at that nice.
I love that, Greg.
We must be polite.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, that's what is sending us over the edge, that please, for sure, Greg. Without further ado then, I would like, and I am glad that you caught that about the addition, because you were going to build a building that was already there had we not changed that. So good catch. Sorry about that. So I would like to make a motion to approve resolution 30-2020 preliminary/final land development plan for Merck Building 45 addition.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment? Additional board comment? Oops. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
Commissioners, thank you. Lauren in particular, thanks so much for your help on this. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night. We
Bye.
appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, moving right along. Next on the agenda, I will turn it over to Commissioner Carter with the public safety information.
Hello.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to have a motion to approve the emergency declarations dated October 12th and October 19th, 2020.
So we have
moved.
we have a motion to approve and we have a second by Commissioner Danforth. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, I'm sorry, I need to wait a few seconds longer. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next on our agenda is a motion to hire Abdouar Fem for the position of Upper Gwynedd Township probationary police officer with the start date of November 2nd, 2020.
Excuse me, commissioners. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add that this was an item that was just added to our agenda, so it may not appear on some of the public documents, but it is added so that we could start this process and get this new officer on board with us. I'm sorry, Sandra, was there something else that you wanted to say?
You said everything I wanted to say. Thank you.
I read your mind, scary. Huh? Okay, so we have a motion to hire Abdulwar Khan. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment. No public comment.
I actually have an additional comment. It's actually a question for Chief Duffy. How long is the probationary period?
Probation period is 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
He already has the police academy, so if we hire somebody who doesn't have the probationary year would not start until they're done the academy, but in this case, he already has it, and he has police experience.
Okay.
And just also so the commissioners know, we will invite him and his family for the formal swearing in at the November 9th meeting.
Okay, great.
If he is so approved.
Okay. Jump in the gun. Say please. No, just kidding.
Please.
With that, all in favor of the new hire?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Thank you, Commissioner Carter.
Thank
Moving
you.
right along, I will turn it over to Commissioner Dansker for her report on Public Works, Parks, and Rec.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve payment 3 to Alan Myers for the 2020 roads program in the amount of $1,417.50. And that's the 2020 mill and overlay project with the ADA ramps. And I believe that's via a roll call vote.
Yes, we will need a roll call vote for that. Deanna?
You're muted.
Deanna,
President McNaney,
aye.
Vice President Hull,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye. And for Public Works,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I have,
the ayes so have it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Did you have to, I'm sorry, I bumped you out, Liz. Do you have to say what you have to say? Go ahead.
No, I've done this. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Secondly, I have a motion to approve Resolution 31-2020, authorizing the township's application to the Multimodal Transportation Fund from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. And this is to authorize an application for a grant for support from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation concerning there was a completion of repairs. This is about the Sumleytown Pike Bridge and over the Wissahickon that will gather further insight into the health of the bridge. And we're currently in the process of completing a full bridge analysis from our township commissioner engineers. So this is just so that we can apply for this grant, which our township engineers will help to complete.
Isaac, did you have anything more on that grant?
Yeah, thanks, President McNaney. I'll mention that this grant resolution would be a document we would include with the application for the grant. Shows the full support of the township to pursue the project, as well as some other exhibits that will be prepared. And this grant is one that will be pursued for this bridge replacement. This type of project obviously is not a cheap one. So there are some other grants that we could also pursue. This one in particular has a deadline of November 6th, which is the reason that we have the resolution before the commissioners tonight. And this grant does kind of hit on all the marks that this project entails. A busy, well-traveled roadway in the township. The bridge itself has had some recent repairs done that has extended its life a bit, but it also has been identified through those inspections during those repairs that it is a bridge that needs full replacement. So we're confident that we can put together a good application for this grant. We're hopeful that we're awarded hopefully as much or as close to the full amount that we ask, but as well we'll pursue some others to hopefully minimize costs from the township itself and have some additional funding help to replace this busy bridge.
Isaac, I like how you said a couple exhibits. So I've written these grants and there's 10 plus exhibits. So Isaac's downplaying how much work they're going to be doing a little bit. I am so glad Isaac's doing it.
I appreciate that.
Like it's literally a huge checkbox and you're like, oh, exhibit 1, exhibit 2, exhibit 3. There's so, and they're not tiny exhibits.
It's true, yeah, and a lot of the documents, you know, if there's other applications for this grant that they receive, they're, you know, the typical ones that are part of the package. But to try to separate this from the other ones they'll see, you know, the resolution will be in there, obviously, and we'll have our narrative and some other, so hopefully supporting recommendations. So it puts us above others to hopefully get that funding. So as with any application, you try to separate yourself from the pack and hope for a good result.
Thank you, Isaac.
You want me to repeat the motion? Or we?
I think we're good. I think we're good. So we have
Okay.
a motion by Commissioner Damsker to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes so have it. Thank you, Ruth and Isaac, for that.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, I will turn it over to Commissioner Similaro for an update on the wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're going to have a presentation by PFM Financial Advisors, Jamie Schlesinger. A little bit of background. Recently, the township solicited the professional services of PFM to assist the staff in determining the best way to finance the balance of the WIP project and to satisfy all the legal requirements of doing so. So PFM finished their analysis and they'd like to present their recommendation, and Jamie Schlesinger and Melissa Hughes from PFM are here. So I'm going to turn it over to PFM for their presentation.
Great. Thank you, everybody. I'm Jamie Schlesinger. Hopefully everyone can see me. And I believe, and Melissa's here too. That's what I was about to say. Hopefully Melissa's still on.
Yep.
I saw her bounce off for a second. Great.
We had a few technical difficulties earlier.
We're good now, I think. So everyone should see a copy of our presentation. So to start out, I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to work with the township. You know, I'm a Montgomery County resident myself, so you know, expanding and working with the local municipalities is obviously something I'm always interested in. Plus, if we ever go to real meetings going forward, it's close to my house, which is always a nice thing. That said, we have developed a pretty good plan for you. The township obviously is in a great financial position. Has some tremendous growth. Obviously, just listening into the Merck presentation, obviously that's a strong taxpayer and partner that you have in the township. And obviously, our goal here is to work with you to make the plan most cost-effective and best for the township residents to keep your rates down as low as possible. So I think we've done a pretty good job after kind of talking to Sandra and Dave, and we'll run through the options in the next couple slides. So if you can turn to the next page, please. All right, if you could just scroll down a little, I mean, you probably can't. If you look at this page, just in general, this just gives you an idea of where interest rates are. I know there's 3 separate charts on this particular page, but I think anytime you look at these type of charts, if you see the checkbox going down, that's usually a good thing. That essentially means that rates are very, very low. And we've had the interest rates about this point for the last 6 months or so. Obviously, interest rates are driven by a number of things. In this particular case, as we all know, COVID and the world global crisis associated with that has driven, our market in a place where we're able to take advantage of things if we're going to a financing type, a method to finance debt. So obviously there's things that drive these things. We're going to obviously utilize this particular environment to get us the lowest rate possible. You can turn to the next page. So, as a firm for PFM, our job is to provide our clients independent advice to determine what makes most sense for our clients. And, traditionally, when we look at debt financings, we look at a few different alternatives. The more traditional way to do things is through a bond issue, but obviously we can look at the bank loan markets. I think in general, whatever type of transaction that we do, you're going to get very low interest rates, as I mentioned. Our goal here is to find the right fit for the township. Ultimately, is a combination of low interest rates, low cost of issuance, and flexibility for future pay down. Based on the program that we're coming up with, we feel that because the debt will be relatively short, that fits in a great window to utilize a bank loan. We went through a different analysis to determine which way we wanted to go, but after looking at the different methods, we think we can amortize the debt over a 10-year period and keep your payments within the range that you're already kind of budgeting at this point. And I think that makes a lot of sense for the township, and it also pays back the debt relatively quickly. So that really made this analysis pretty easy to make a determination once we've come up with the plan and the value of how much money you can afford. You can turn to the next page. So Melissa's going to take it from here because she did all the hard work at this point.
So the township has two existing pieces of debt. One is a loan from the state from 2010, and one is a general obligation note from 2015. We're actually going to target that 2015 note for a refinancing opportunity. It's already at what seems like a very low interest rate, 2.32%. But believe it or not, the market is lower than that now. It's not a refinancing that we would consider on its own, because it's not going to generate that much savings. But when you pair it combined with the new money, it makes sense to include. So when you see our analysis, know that we're targeting that for a refinancing too. And you might note that that note is associated with the general fund. That's okay to include them in the same borrowing, because ultimately you're going to be providing your general obligation pledge or the pledge of your full faith, credit, and taxing power to repay the loan. You have sewer revenues coming in too that will repay it ultimately, but you're promising that if sewer revenues are insufficient, you'll pay it with other revenues. And what we'll do behind the scenes is we'll create a backup amortization schedule that shows, okay, here's the portion that's attributed to the general fund, and here's the portion that's attributed to the sewer fund. So you'll have, clean accounting behind the scenes, but it'll be one loan together. So if you want to move on to the next page. Okay. Yes. Okay. So a little bit about how to read this page. We like these colored summary pages because we find they're pretty easy to read through. So if you start in column 4, that's one of the black columns, that's your existing sewer debt service. So you'll notice that it's at $288,000 until there's a drop off in 2026. You get down to $120,000, and then in 2028, you're done with the loan. It's important to keep that into consideration because the technique for structuring the new sewer debt that we're proposing to utilize is called the wraparound structure. And that's where we take the old debt and the new debt together and make them level. They stack upon each other. We'll read through the page and understand what that means. Column 5 is your general fund debt service. That's the one we're proposing to refund. And you can see in column 6, if you did nothing, you'd pay about, call it $765,000 a year. Okay. Column 7, this is what we estimate the township could save on a refinancing of that existing general fund loan. So we're estimating that it could save net $57,000. any number we show you is always a net number, the true benefit to the township. So you can see the impact in column 8 that would have on the general fund. Basically, you'd get most of the benefit in 2021. And then you could take those savings and use them on, whatever you felt was appropriate. In column 9, this is the proposed schedule for the new money portion of the sewer project. So you'll notice at the top, start at the top of column 2, borrowing would produce funds for the township of $5.5 million. Would have a 10-year term. So Jamie talked earlier about us being pretty confident that the bank loan was the right tool to use here. It's that 10-year term that gives us that indication. We're utilizing the wraparound structure, and then that's the estimated interest rate. We're always a little bit conservative at this juncture. That's what we're estimating right now. So in column 9, as you're reading down the page, we estimate that the first year payment in 2021 would be about $70,000. And then you see for a few years, there's about payments of about $600,000. And then the payments jump up a little bit on this series. And that's okay, because if you look in column 10, even though they're jumping up on this series, in aggregate, they're level. So your new level payments would be about $885,000. And in talking with Dave, that fits within what the township has in the budget currently, plus allocated new revenue from the project coming online. So you can see in column 10, that's what you'd owe in your sewer fund. And in column 11 is an estimate of what you would owe overall. So that's a lot of information right now. So I'll pause and see if anyone has any questions before we talk a little bit more about the process and timing. Okay. All right, so if you could go on to the next page, we'll talk about timing for a moment. So we've been having lots of discussions with the administration, looking at possible financing scenarios. We're here on October 19th, giving you an update. We will distribute the bank loan RFP to a list of local and regional banks and target November 17th for those responses to come back. We'll then review those responses and on November 23rd, have an ordinance before council to approve the winning bid from the bank. And when we review bank loan RFP proposals, we take into consideration not only rate, but terms and conditions. So for instance, if somebody offered you a 1.2%, but they had a depository relationship requirement for the life of the loan, meaning that they were going to require that the township have their deposits with the bank for the next 10 years. But somebody else offered you a 1.23, so slightly higher rate, but had no such terms and conditions, string free, we would recommend that you take the 1.23 because it provides you more flexibility. And that's the type of analysis that Jamie and I would help you all think through. So, assuming that happened, you would have money in your account by the end of December.
And we know that this is part of obviously a much larger set of projects. And I know Dave ran through his thoughts on use of cash as well as funds on other funds on hand. And I believe he felt comfortable enough that the proceeds of $5.5 million would be enough for you to get to a point where this makes a lot of sense. So I think it's a really strong plan overall. We think banks would be quite interested in this type of credit, obviously, and also the terms and conditions of it would be a little more favorable to the township overall. So I think it'll be a win-win for the township as well as ultimately the bank that provides the proposal.
Great. Great work, you guys. Thank you for the presentation. It's so easy to follow, and I'm sure that the board feels the same way.
So
So
So,
I'll let the board comment.
I
I think
wanted
the
to
next
ask,
step really,
is,
go ahead,
as
sorry.
far as the interest rates, can they raise the interest rates during the period, the 10-year period? I mean,
We're
is it based
expecting-
on,
Yeah,
what's it
so
based
just
on?
good. Yeah, good question. So we're using some conservative, rates right now as the estimates. We will obviously know exactly what the proposals will be when we get them. From what we found from a lot of the bank loans that we've received from municipalities that are near you, we're able to get fixed rates for 10 years. So you'd be locked in more than likely from the point where we receive this proposal. So that'll be one of the things we'll look at, but more than likely the proposals we get will probably do our recommendation is to take a fixed rate for the full term.
Thank you.
We want to remove as much risk as possible. And again, that's one of the reasons why we planned for the 10-year alternative, because we found there's probably 5 to 7 really strong banks out there in Montgomery County and regionally that have the way to, they're able to do this in a fashion where rates could be in the 1% range.
does anybody on the board have any more questions? We don't have there's no motion tonight. That'll be at a future meeting. So thank you, Jamie and Melissa. It was very, very, very informational. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you
We'll
all for
see you
your
in a
time.
couple weeks.
Yes, thanks.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So the next motion we have is a motion to approve the bid advertisement for Delpac 1525 for 2021. Delpac 1525 is a chemical that's added to wastewater to aid in the removal of phosphorus, and this would be for 2021.
So we have a motion to approve the advertisement for the bid. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. That can't be it for Martha, only two.
It is.
Yeah, congratulations, Martha.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow. I don't look, make sure I didn't flip the paper. All right, thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, item number 21, which is a motion to approve the September 2020 open invoices. We've all had a chance to look through them. So with that, we'll need a roll call vote. Before the vote, was there any public comments on that?
No public comment.
Okay. Any additional board comments on any of the invoices? None. I just can't wait till we get COVID expenditures off these invoices, you know? Oh. Anyway, with that, we need a roll call vote.
We need motion.
Oh, yes, we do.
So moved.
We have a motion and do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Roll call vote.
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Yeah, I still have it. Thank you. And next is a motion to approve the September 2020 paid invoices. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any public comments?
No public comment.
Additional board comments? Hearing none. Deanna?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes still have it. Thank you, Deanna. Before we call for adjournment tonight, the board attended a couple weeks ago via Zoom a Montgomery County Association of Township Commissioners meeting where there was several guest speakers. And we just wanted to take a minute tonight or two to talk about what our county commissioner, Val Alcouche, said regarding COVID and how our county is doing and different information. We will be posting some of this on our website as well. One thing that briefly I'd like to just bring up, and then I can turn it over to the rest of the board, was the new app that the county has, where you can go to, I think it's Go Monco app, and sign up for the COVID app that will provide you with updated information and be able to track and let you know if there was somebody that you were around that has tested positive. The app, just reading about it, has a ton of really good information on it. I know I've received it, and I check it daily just to see how we're doing. And again, that information is on our website. Commissioner Carter, or I'm sorry, Commissioner Similaro, I saw your hand up.
The app is COVID Alert PA.
COVID Alert PA. Okay, thank you. Did you have it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Commissioner Hall.
Something else about that app is that there's no GPS connected to it. So if you are, every day, if you forget to do it, it pops up and reminds you and says, how are you feeling today? Are you having any symptoms? And it's super easy. You click yes or no. I've been able to click no every time, luckily. And then it tells you the percentage of people every day, except for today, it's been 3% who are experiencing some symptoms. Today it was 4%. But one thing that Dr. Arkush stressed is that this is not a sneaky device that the county is trying to use to get people to tell them that, yes, I'm feeling like I have COVID symptoms, and then now we're going to tell the world that this person has COVID. That's not what this is about. They have no way of tracking you at all. It's just to give you information about who you've come in contact with, and then you need to go and actually take care of whatever yourself. So it's really a great tool for us as individuals to use.
Yeah. Commissioner Dansker or Carter, would you like to add anything?
I think that one of the things that I took away from the workshop was the COVID testing sites, and that they're county run, and that there are no barriers, no age, no cost, no prescription necessary, and no doctor's note. I thought that was, because I thought you had to have a doctor's note. The other thing was around people who are food insecure, that there was a $6 million grant to purchase food at low prices, to help with rent and utility costs, and also to provide pro bono legal help to minimize evictions. And the last thing I thought that was interesting was the small businesses, that they do have some more grants for that around childcare, and that the Montgomery County has increased the income brackets, and that childcare can go up to age 13.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. That was, the county has a lot to offer, and it was, I didn't realize how much, and you hit on a few, and there's more information on the county website as well about everything.
Oh, she also wanted people to know that the Oaks Dog Show is not canceled.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a very popular. That's very popular.
That's the one.
They have ways to get things done safely. She wanted to put the word out there that the dog show will go on as planned. Do you have that?
Yeah, I just want to just reiterate one of the things that Catherine said, and that is the availability of testing, that you don't have to, like she said, to get a doctor, or you don't have to have symptoms if you just want to check to see if, whether you would possibly test positive, or if you've been near someone, that you can go, and it generally takes all your insurance, and there's no cost to taking the test.
All right, thank you for that.
And we must bring up another point that she made, which was about the mail-in ballots and
Oh,
not panic if you haven't received it yet. We
Right.
just got ours in our neighborhood. Martha and I did on, was
Mine's
it Friday? You got yours today?
today.
And I have to say that even though I was telling everybody was asking me, don't panic, it's coming. I was panicking the whole time.
Me
So I
too.
understand that it's really difficult not to panic, but the best way I think to vote is to, if you're going to do the mail-in and not do it in person, is to do that drop box in Lansdale by Station Square Apartments in the back. It's that drop box is going to be open through November 3rd, through voting day. So it's, even if you got that ballot on the 2nd, you could go run it on the 3rd. So keep reminding yourself, don't panic. They're coming. The mail has been having a hard time dealing with that volume, but Dr. Arkush did say that the mail is doing an excellent job actually with it. And they have evidence that they mailed out a ballot, got it returned 3 days later. And they really are doing a wonderful job. So I know that was another concern. So I just wanted to put those thoughts.
Commissioner Carter, was there something you wanted to add with that?
No,
That was it.
Excellent workshop. I learned a lot.
It was very informative. Lastly, I think, I know the board here would like to send their condolences to Senator Collette for the passing of her father. She's just spoken to us in the past, stories about her father, and he will be missed. He was sounded like a good man, although I never met him, but Maria got a little twinkle in her eye when she spoke to him. So our condolences to Maria and her family during this time. So with that, if there's nothing else.
McNamee, if I can just jump in real quick. I'm just cleaning up my notes, and I just want to make sure that the board had taken public comment on agenda item 17 for the new hire. I believe we did, but I just want to make sure before we closed out that we had.
Okay.
Deanna, did you note that? Yes,
We're good?
okay.
Okay, that was it.
All right. So with that, we will end tonight's meeting at 8:02. Where are the cheers? Come on, where are the pom-poms? And there we go. Yay. With that, I wish everybody a good night, and don't forget to vote. And we're out. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.